I'm AgroBlaze96.
And I'm the Woodshed, and welcome to the AgroShed Podcast.
Welcome back. What is going on, everybody, to the AgroShed Podcast? This is episode 20-something, and we're going to be talking about why streamers ruin games, or do you think streamers ruin games? Kyle, what's going on, dude?
Not a whole lot. What's going on with you, buddy? How are you feeling?
To be honest, I'm tired. It's the end of the week. I'm glad we're getting to do this, but God, I am so tired, bro.
Buddy, I get it. I've been up since 8 in the morning. I'm too old for this shit. I had a 10-hour work day and drove 50 minutes one way to go get my kid 50 minutes back, and then immediately sat down and did this.
I get it, dude.
Tired.
It's been one of those things.
But I'm glad we're here doing this because this is something that when I got this idea, I wanted to make sure we were really doing it because we talk about the impact streaming has on games. We're going to talk about its early impact a little bit, how we feel about it, and I think we're both in a little bit of a, I don't want to say privileged spot, but almost privileged, where we're not big enough to have a real impact on how these games are put in motion. Said, but I also don't think we're also either one of us are playing games that are so huge that we're worried about the direction of where games are going.
Okay.
At least for what we individually stream. Is that fair to say about Flesh and Blood?
100%. I completely agree with that.
Would you say the creators of the game do pretty good as far as for the community standards?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, LSS, the company, like Legend Story Studios, the company that creates Flesh and Blood, I think they do a good job of, trying to advocate for their player base and making sure that we're taken care of. It's one of the things I really like about the game. So, yeah, no, I think everything you said is very accurate for both of us.
And I can say the same thing about Supercell and Clash, and at least Clash of Clans, how they have been so good about making it easier for free-to-play players, new players coming in, time's getting shorter, they're taking away training time. They've just tried to make it real user-friendly for new players coming in, which for an old man like me who has a lot of high-level accounts, I'm like, damn, I remember everything takes 2-3 weeks no matter what I'm doing anyway. But
I remember when Town Hall 10 was as high as you could go. That's exactly what we sound like right now.
That is exactly what we sound like. But I think we're both a little lucky that we don't have to be in these positions where we're beta testing Call of Duty and Battlefield, and we're all sitting there going, "Man, where's the battle pass? See, man."
Yes, thank God for that.
But I don't want to talk about necessarily. I want to start off on a more positive note before we go into something that Zach. What do you think was the peak of streaming? Just period for the gaming community as a whole.
Man, that's tough. Like, man, I don't know. Back in the day, I think a lot of people, I feel like streaming, quote unquote, kind of started to, get its legs under it in a very, it has to have something to get started kind of way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
With Halo 3. I think Halo 3, with multiplayer and the way that things started to go, there was a lot of big names that started to be developed, kind of pushed that way. And so I think Halo 3 kind of put streaming on the map because it wasn't always called Twitch. It used to be called Justin TV or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then I think Fortnite was another big jump, which people might disagree with, but I think that Fortnite and I know that I'm a little biased because I'm a big Ninja fanboy, but Ninja and Tfue and all of them, it was a very big push for the streaming industry. And so I think those in my head stand out as two very pivotal moments in time where streaming took a step up in its what it was trying to accomplish.
Yeah, no, I'd completely agree with you. I don't know that I would say streaming took off in Halo 3. I'd say probably content creation as a whole.
Okay.
Probably started taking off at that point, maybe because I remember that, and shortly after that when Modern Warfare 2 come out, and I remember sniping montages. I'm sure you remember Grizzy.
Yep. Absolutely.
And those 360 videos with the ridiculous quick sniping. I think that was kind of the birth to, at least to what we know today as content creation and compilations. But I think you're 100% right on the fact that Fortnite took it a step further than anything anybody imagined, because there were people making livings off of it and still doing relatively well. Tim the Tatman did Overwatch for the longest time, long before Fortnite was ever out. But that was definitely a huge jump, because then there were people paired together. You saw names like Courage, Tim got even bigger. Ninja got gigantic. Of course, at one point, the biggest streamer in the world, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
I think you're right. I think
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's interesting to see how like streaming's evolved. So like you mentioned that it really wasn't like streaming back in the day. Like like Halo,
Mhm.
Modern Warfare 2, like all those things. It wasn't really streaming. It was content creation. And
Yeah.
I think all of us, like no matter how big or how small you are, fit under this like content creation, like window of do you
Yeah.
stream? Do you make videos? Are you shorts strictly? Like what are you targeting? And streams probably didn't become a big thing later. So it's until later. So it's very interesting to see
Mhm.
how content creation has developed over
Yeah.
the last 15 years,
Yeah. I want to talk about who was the first content creator that you really loved.
Uh,
Who was your? No, come on. Now
uh,
go dig deep.
okay.
Dig deep.
So I mean, like the first content creator that I can remember, like genuinely, like watching and following all the time, and like I had to watch their content, like in general, was Ninja. I mean, honestly, like I hate to sound like that, but like Ninja was what put me. I know. L's in the chat. L's in the chat. But like, I always really liked the energy that Ninja brought because it was so real for who we
Mhm.
were as people. He was very toxic at times. And to be honest, it's a very unpopular opinion, but I freaking loved that. It was like, oh, this guy's going to be real and he's good. So I always really enjoyed that. I think in terms of Flesh and Blood though, like if like I'm gonna take this a little bit more granular here. When I
Okay.
got into Flesh and Blood, there wasn't a lot of content creation. Like when I started like playing the game, and there was a podcast that I started following called Arsenal Pass, and they were like the premier Flesh and Blood channel that you went to for like high level advice. And so they
Yeah.
were the first. Like they really got me into the game in a big way, into Flesh and Blood in a big way. Anyway, how about you?
Mhm. So I'll go a couple different directions. I'll go like first one I remember really liking. I'll go and then I'll go like first one like in the Clash of Clans
Yeah.
space that I really remember. The first one I really liked. I'll give two answers because I can't. No, I don't really know which one come first. Um, one of them had to be. It was a Minecraft YouTuber. That's how long ago this was. When I was
Okay.
a kid and I was watching Minecraft. It was Ethos Lab,
Okay.
who was a big redstone guy. So he was like, I mean, he like should have been like a fucking electrician. Like the way he did this stuff. I mean, it
Oh,
was.
for real.
He actually designed a ice boat road in like alpha or beta in Minecraft called the Eats Road,
That's so
and
cool,
it was
dude.
like ridiculous how smart the guy was in figuring out the game mechanics. I don't think to this day I still don't think he's done a face reveal. Um,
That's so
and
cool.
he's been seriously he's been around for like 10, 15 years easily. Um,
Wow.
so he's one of them. Another one I remember loving was KYR Speedy.
Okay.
I don't know if you know him. You probably know some of the guys he's played with, like Sidearms, Deluxe Four, guys like that. They were just
Oh,
really goofy
sure.
compilation guys, and they did a lot of Call of Duty stuff, and it was just so funny. They were like the old school Vanos crew is what they make me think of.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of
Um,
expected Tim to be on your list. I thought, like, I know you really enjoyed Tim, but I assumed he was like one of the OGs for you.
as a streamer, yes, but I even to this day, y'all, let y'all in on a fucking secret. I don't watch streams. I'm a YouTube video connoisseur. But I watch so much YouTube, so many YouTube videos. But I almost never watch streams unless it's a buddy, or it's something specific going on that I know is going on that I want to watch.
I
It's
mean,
almost never. It's
I
almost never live streams.
I think that's why YouTube is so popular. And like not to like
Mhm.
derail the conversation, but like people like YouTube because you can pause it. You can, fast forward, you can jump through things you don't want to see. And that's one of the big
Yeah.
draws to YouTube. But like, Twitch is like all about the live viewing experience. And I think Twitch does a good job. I think honestly the live viewing experience is better on Twitch in my opinion. But
Hmm.
YouTube just has like the vlog and everything else that it's trying to accomplish. That's
Yeah.
so much better.
I
So I think there's a
the
lot of
the
people like you.
difference. No, I agree, and I think the difference between the streaming experience between the two is close-ish.
Yep.
YouTube's probably like 80% of whatever Twitch is. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head that's different is like channel points.
Sure.
I can't think of much else that's really that different on the top of my head. But the rest of the viewing experience is so much vastly in favor of YouTube, which is why I think YouTube probably wins that fight and why I spend more time on YouTube than literally anything else. I mean, between Hulu and Prime Video, for fuck's sakes, I watch YouTube videos. No, I got to catch up my YouTube videos. I haven't seen the latest of this video or that video, so I want to go see it.
Same, dog. Same.
Uh, I'm that guy, which is why I was so dead set and so hard headed about not streaming when I first started, because I was just such a video guy.
Okay.
And as far as Clash goes, he doesn't do content anymore, and I'm so sad about it because I loved his old school videos. It was a Chief Pat, who was like the original, like smart, let's figure out how to attack. And he was the guy I
Okay.
looked up all the tutorials from. I followed every single one of his Let's Plays. I loved him so much.
So he was
And he
like an
stopped
OG
uploading.
strategist, I guess.
He was, oh, dude, like you wouldn't believe. He was pretty good at the game. He stopped playing roughly around the time Clash Royale came out. And every time Supercell did a new game, he kind of went to the new game until eventually he stopped creating content for the most part.
Okay.
So huge shout out to that. Now you better give me a different fucking answer here. That means he's not going to. Who's your favorite content creator right now?
I mean, like
No, no,
the
I'm
easy
not. You
cop
can't
out
pick
answer
it.
is Ninja because like dog, I'm just such a Ninja
Something
fanboy.
else. Pick. I don't care. Pick anybody else.
My favorite content creator right now. Like who's somebody that like when I see their video, I think I have to click on it. You have to let me ponder on this one for a minute, like, because I feel like I watch so much variety of content when it comes to like Flesh and Blood in the card space. So
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm gonna have to ponder on this one for a second.
So I go through spurts with everything. Where depending on whatever game I'm playing or feeling is kind of what my YouTube gravitates towards.
Okay.
But there's one guy who I will watch regardless of what he's playing and what he's doing. And his name on YouTube is MMG.
Okay.
The reason he is my favorite, he's basically a Madden YouTuber, right? And he's also done like the college football stuff since college football's come out. And he does like the ultimate teams, build your own team, through packs and marketplace, that kind of stuff, right?
Sure.
But the way he acts in these videos is unhinged, and it's everything I ever want. Like you go into a video and he goes, "What's going on, beautiful studs?" And within 30 seconds, he's grabbing the microphone and he's being like, "Cause your mother's a loose whore, you hear me?" And he's losing it, and and he's like, he's just absolutely unhinged, and he's absolutely fantastic. So regardless of what he's doing or how bad he is at it, sometimes he won't do Madden, and like for a couple months before the next one comes out, he'll play 2K and he'll do the same thing on 2K, and he's dog shit. And I love watching him. I go into the comments and I'm watching him reply to the comments talking about people's moms. and, I'm like, I love this guy, man. He's everything I've ever wanted a community to be. Because sometimes it's the back and forth.
Yeah.
But he's instigating it, and it's just how he is, and it's fantastic. So he'll call you beautiful and tell you you're a slut at the same time, and it's fantastic.
I love that. That's the kind of energy you're looking for.
I'll send you a video of his. I'll find a good one and I'll send it to you.
Please do. I look forward to
Because
watching
you would love that guy. Don't watch it at work, but you would love that guy.
Okay, fair enough. I think I'm gonna pick somebody within the Flesh and Blood space actually. So
Go for it.
there is. I feel like Flesh and Blood's still like very young, and it's like content generation era. So like there's not a lot of like massive names, but there's a lot of people like trying to make a name for themselves. And there's these two people that make videos. It's like one YouTube channel. It's these two people together. Their names are Tegan and Aurora, and they're like their channel is called Flesh and Bad, like as a play on things. And they do all of these like funny videos where they do like what they call F tier Fridays. So like they play this unplayable deck and try to make it work. And all of their content is just super like relatable and funny in a lot of ways, but they're really trying, and they're trying to make it competitive. So it makes it very interesting for like me, like somebody who is competitive, but like also somebody who's like very casual and maybe doesn't need a lot of that stuff. So I don't know. Like I watch most of the stuff that they put out, and to be honest, like that says a lot because as a content creator, one of the things that I really struggle with is making time to watch other people's content. I'm the
Mhm.
world's worst about that, because I find myself being like, oh, well, I've got to work, or I've got to make a video, or I've got to do this. And so it's like I find time to actually watch other content, but that's content I listen to a lot.
And I don't know if this applies to you. I've actually told numerous people, it's not mentioned on stream before, that ever since I've started streaming and uploading Clash of Clans, and Zack plays at a higher level than I do, but I play at a pretty high and competitive level in Clash as well, that I can't watch other people's YouTube and guides on how this stuff is supposed to work. Because my brain is convinced that because everybody kind of has their own opinion and their own thoughts on it.
Sure.
And like we talked about how like you have an unorthodox play style, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
and I do too, to a pretty wide extent. So I don't want to be influenced, and so I just refuse to watch it. I just can't. My brain's just like, oh, that's really bad placement. We're done with this video. Let's go home.
It's interesting because there's a lot of people who put out guides like you're talking about on like certain decks or heroes that I play, and I like to look at them because I'm like, well, maybe you had an idea I hadn't considered. Maybe you found
Yeah.
this cool card that I didn't have the time to think about. But there is a lot of times like that when I find myself watching things and I'm like, it's not very good. Like I feel like you're on like an outdated list or something like that, and so like
Yeah.
I don't know, but I try to keep an open mind and I try to watch things like that because I want to see what people are coming up with and what they're doing. But I get what you're saying for sure.
And I think that's just the difference, like, and this is probably why Zach plays at a higher level in Flesh and Blood than I do in Clash, is because he can watch it and he can take something from it. I have to bang my head into the wall for 4 days in a row until it clicks my fucking self. And I have some of the best people around me in the world that I should be asking, and I'm just like, no, you know what? I'm just gonna brute force it until it clicks. And like yesterday, it clicked the other day, and I concerned Jay. I just said, I understand it now. And he messages me and he goes, what the fuck are you talking about? And I just made the lethal shooter reference just seeing what he would do. But I think that's just the difference between us.
I
Um,
think you're selling yourself short. Honestly, if I'm being honest, like it's weird because like there's so many less people that play my game that play your game.
mhm.
So I think being where you're at, I think you're selling yourself short on like where you're at in the Clash community, dog.
No, I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. Who knows?
Yes, just say yes.
Who do you think's better at their respective game? I guarantee you it's not me.
Ben, just
I've not been
comment.
invited to. Oh, I've not been invited to another country. Regardless, I've actually been told not to come specifically. Uh, every time I book a flight to Helsinki, Finland, they're just like, "No, by the way, no, we
Yeah,
can't do it."
not in, dog.
Um, so I do want to talk though a little bit because of course with the difference between different content creators, the good, the bad, and the different kinds. I think you also see a difference in how we react to people in our own communities, right?
Hmm.
Um, I don't know about you. I'll speak for myself. I'm confident you'll agree with me though. But I talk to my community the way I'd want to talk to anybody, the way I talk to friends, right? To me, it's hanging out with the boys, right? That's the best way I describe it. It's just hanging out with everybody. Who would you relate yourself to as far as a larger content creator, as far as the style and how you talk to everybody?
So I have really tried. There is one Magic player in specifically, like very specifically, that stands out to me that I always wanted to be like when I started my content creation journey. His name is Reed Duke. He is one of the, in my opinion, one of the like probably top 10 best Magic players of all time. And he is
Hmm.
probably the nicest Magic player I've ever met. Now,
Hmm.
I fall very short of that sometimes when I'm playing games and I'm doing things because I crash out and I lose my mind because I'm a normal human being. But I've always aimed to like create this space where you're always welcome. No question is stupid. Like, let's talk about what you want to talk about and let's ask these questions. And I've always wanted to have that engaging, open, you're welcome space to come hang out. And so that's who I would compare myself to. If people watch this and they play a lot of Magic, they probably realize how short I fall to that standard because he's just absolutely an amazing person.
So I mean that's pretty fair, right? We have those people who influence us, and we want to be like this, but this adjusted or this, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Um, I really like the way that, and this is weird, right? Because I almost want to compare myself to like Tim or Queso, where like chat gives them shit, he gives them shit. But I think they get bullied more by their chat than I do. I think I bully chat a little more than they do. I
Yeah,
think there's a little bit more rebuttal. Um, and I think specifically in the Clash community, it's all very people very serious and and they're trying to keep a lot of stuff kid friendly, which is reasonable. Not that I'm judging that, but like at the
sure.
same time, I want to sit there and see a 99% 1 star and just go fuck because
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking internally. As opposed to just going, oh shucks,
Well, you
no,
want to be
I'm
yourself. Like, you want to
yeah,
be inclusive, you want to be welcoming, but you also want to be yourself. And when you're frustrated, you want to let it out a little bit. Like,
yeah.
I completely get it. Like, I try not to cuss when I'm live because I'm always like thinking, somebody's kid might be watching this, and then something happens, and I'm just like, fuck. Like, and I just like it flies out of my mouth, and I just like it always happens.
But listen, stream is, and this becomes weird, but like stream is like one of the most authentic versions of myself that you get because it's not like because like I have everybody, I'm sure everybody does this. You have work personality,
Hmm.
and then you have your personality, and streaming somewhere in the middle where I get to be comfortable being myself
Right.
and still just interacting with people. So
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Um, so I've got the comparisons out of the way. Now it's getting got a couple things,
Okay.
only a couple more.
No, you're
I want
good
to talk
here.
about before we get to the bad. Who do you think's had a positive impact on new games and influencing on devs?
Who's had a positive impact on games?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it's really easy to point out that people complain about stuff, and even if they did complain, but like again, I go back to XQC wanting a battle royale and a battle pass in Battlefield 6.
No, I get
Right.
that.
But who do you think has had a positive impact? Have they just been like, that's ridiculous? Why would you do that?
Positive impact on their game. You know what? Somebody that I think has had a positive impact, and like I'm really showing when I got into content with all the people I've picked and what I'm talking about here. But I
Yeah.
feel like as much as I love Ninja, Tifu had probably the most positive impact on Fortnite.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. He just seemed like such a great pillar of the community who when he was live, he seemed like he was himself at all times. And like he won tournaments and he was good at the game and like, he had like some clip farming moments and things like that. And like I don't know. I just feel like Tifu was probably one of the best things that could have happened to Fortnite.
I think that's probably I think that's a good one. I actually really like that one. It's a good pick. Um when I think of positive influences, this is gonna be a weird one because this is one that he's influencing games that come out every like fucking 6 or 7 years for Christ's sakes.
Hmm.
There's a guy I follow on YouTube. His name's It's Jabbo,
Okay.
and he is a Bethesda girly.
Okay.
He's not a girly, but I'm just saying. So Skyrim, Fallout, all the stuff, and he gives a lot of attention to mods and mod creators. Um, he criticizes a lot of the really dumb stuff that Fallout and Bethesda has done, and he like doesn't play any of their games that are just dog shit anymore.
Okay.
So he plays a lot of Fallout 4. He plays some New Vegas. He plays some Skyrim. He's played a little bit of Fallout 3, but he doesn't touch Fallout 76. He posts like 3 videos of Starfield.
Sure.
And I think just not going with the wave or just trying not to ride the newest and latest and greatest before even knowing how it is. And people will go into his streams and he'll just be like, no, Starfield kind of sucks. All the
Yeah.
planets kind of the same. So here I am, destroying another Deathclaw in the Commonwealth. Here we go.
I like that.
Uh, so I would probably say him. I almost want to say like I almost wish there was like a Call of Duty content creator, but honestly, I think Call of Duty is just so far beyond gone
I have
that
a
there's not an influence anybody could do.
I have a content creator from back in the day that I would pick, but they're not a streamer, and I think you phrased the question as like a streamer.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, Digital Fear. I feel like
Okay.
had one of the. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get the sense that he was like very toxic in some capacity, just from like the shit that he filmed. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Digital Fear opened up what you were able to do with video games and what kind of content you could create. So
Yeah.
I think that's a very maybe not personal positive, but like I feel like what he did for content was a very positive thing for the space in general.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair. Yeah. Okay. Last thing. This is kind of a two-parter.
okay, let's do it.
Um, and this is just general. How do you think that game devs should be listening to content creators about how to make their games?
I think they do.
Do you think they should?
Okay. Yes. Like if you put a gun to my head and said pick yes or no, I think you have to say yes because content creators are like your early access. They're the people that are pushing your game that are getting it out in front of the rest of the world. And they're like, don't get me wrong, we all bought Halo 1 before it was, content creators were a thing. So it's like obviously games still sell, but I definitely think that they should be listening to content creators. Do I think they should take every idea they say? No, absolutely not. But it's very good feedback for game developers to listen to what content creators are saying.
I don't think it's bad to have feedback from them, but I'm gonna oppose you. I'm gonna say absolutely not. I don't think that there should be a bigger chunk of what you decide is done just because Tim the Tatman says you should do this, Ninja says you should do that. The reason being for that, because for one, let's keep it honest, right? Most content creators are pretty good at the game they're playing. Most of them.
Sure.
Like Tim the Tatman's not an average Call of Duty guy. He might not be top 1%.
No, he's great
Uh,
though.
I'd fold him in half, but that's neither here nor there. But like, he's not your average player, right? So it kind of goes, and we've talked about this in other ones, where you're almost taking a game and you're catering to closer to the pro scene than to the casual gamers.
so
It's
I,
almost like I almost want to phrase it as in like it almost feels like, I promise I'm not going there with this, but you know how people get voted in the office and we trust them to make the right decision for us.
sure.
It's like we're doing that, but instead of voting for this person, it's just a popularity contest. So because this person is the most popular, for whatever reason, they're getting the most amount of pull.
So I guess like game developers listening to streamers is no different than them listening to the community, in my opinion. Like that's how I see it. You're listening to like a louder part of the community, but you're also listening to the community. Am I like so if you're a game developer and you're going to read a Reddit thread about your game or some like a mechanic in your game and like what it could do or how you could change it, and you're going to take that seriously, then you have to take the streamer seriously as well. Like I don't think that that can be any different. So that's why I say yes. I think we're closer to the same answer here than we probably realize, but I get what you're saying.
And the reason is like, and again, keep this with a grain of salt. I try really hard that when I'm talking about people are talking about changes in the game, where I'm trying to look at it from both side perspective, right? The people who are making the game, they don't want to do this because they still want to be able to sell this for money, so maybe they do this for money instead, but it's a lot cheaper, a lot
Sure.
easier, whatever, right? A lot of people don't consider the casual player in things like that, right? Could you tell me that you would have the most casual player's best interest in mind when giving advice to a game dev when you have been a top 10 player in America?
No, there's no shot.
That's the point I'd like to make because
Okay.
these guys, again, maybe not that high end, but then again, if you're in that top 1%, right? Like I don't, it's like, shout out Dave Ramsey, but it's like Dave Ramsey giving people financial advice, right? Where I'm sitting there like, man, he doesn't get it, right? There's moments where you're like, this guy's very detached,
It's like,
right?
yeah, he's become so detached from like reality that he doesn't understand. But no, I get what you're
And not
saying.
that he doesn't know anything, but you get the gist, right? It's
Sure.
I don't want a billionaire telling me how I should invest my only $1,000, right?
For sure.
To them, it's nothing. To me, it's everything, right?
Right. Exactly.
So that's kind of the point I want to make.
Yep.
And I try really hard when I say stuff about games. I try really hard to do that, but I'm sure I'm not perfect about it either. I'm sure I cater more towards higher end gameplay than anything.
I think we all get lost in our own sauce. It's very easy
Yeah.
to be focused on what you like about your hobby. And I think
Hmm.
for both of us, we're competitive by nature. Like, I want to
Yeah.
win the biggest tournament. So, like, my opinions on games obviously are driven by the comp side of things more so than the casual player base. So I
Yeah.
definitely get what you're saying.
Speaking of which, did you know Clash is coming out with a ranked mode?
Are you serious?
They're doing away with Legends League, and they're just putting in a ranked mode. So there's going to be a regular. You can attack regularly throughout the day if you're bored, but there's also I think it's 6 ranked attacks as of the last leak. So
Interesting.
and it's kind of town hall dependent. So you can kind of go up and rank based on your town hall regardless.
That's kind of cool.
So I'm very curious. I'm very excited to hear. Sorry, when we said that, and I was like, oh, I was like, I can't. You know, that's
I love it. That's awesome.
Shout out to our Spotify listeners who didn't get to see that. Feels bad, guy. That's about all the questions I had regarding the streamers. Zack, do you have anything you want to add?
I just want to say my hot take is that streamers don't ruin the game experience. Streamers bring the game experience to life. Now, obviously, I'm biased. I'm a streamer. So clearly take this with a grain of salt. But, there's a lot of people who don't always get to play. And when they're sitting at work or they're doing this or they're doing that, they want to watch games. And if you don't have people streaming or making content, you don't get to freaking do that. So, streamers are definitely crybabies. Streamers are very detached sometimes. But I think it's important that anybody who watches any level of content, remember that's not possible if we don't take time out of our lives to do that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's my quote unquote hot take.
Here's my hot take: Ninja's overrated. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming by.
God, this fucking guy. Yeah. Oh man.
I don't. When it comes to streaming, I'm very plain about it. Right? I still enjoy making videos more than I enjoy. Nah, it's not true. I actually enjoy streaming now more days just because the live interaction.
It's so much fun.
But I don't know. I don't know that I really have a hot take as far as it comes to.
That's okay.
I think my hot take was that streamers shouldn't have that much control over developers. There you go.
Fair enough.
You know what? Stop giving them beta. Give it back to the people who are pre-ordering the game. Give them the code like the old days, and let the public decide.
I actually like that. I think that's good.
And then when your hour and a half or your week-long trial is up, have them rate it. Send them a survey to your email.
I like that.
And be like, by the way, what'd you think? What would you change? What'd you really like?
I'm here for it. I like that a lot.
There's my. That's not even a hot take. That's just, there you go. Somebody hire me. Put me on.
That's just common sense in my opinion, but I get what you're saying.
The first one's free. Anyway. So if you don't have anything else to add, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us again. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe as always. Links down below to our individual channels. Make sure you check us out. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. We'll see y'all next time.